Hey Don, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Sal? How are you today?
I'm doing okay. Got a great show lined up today. We haven't spoken to the people in a few weeks, so hopefully we can catch up and see what's going on. What's been on your mind lately? Anything?
Yeah, yeah, nothing. I've been listening to a lot of uplifting stuff, a lot of positive stuff, and what it really brings to mind is the reason why a lot of people aren't doing so good in today's times. We can blame it on whatever we want to blame it on. It's really about ourselves, but the systems that are in place, I'm finding, and it's gone for generations, but is I think there's a lot of dangers in rewarding the downstat, right? Rewarding people for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And actually what it does is it punishes people for doing what they should be doing, right? And I've used a lot of these examples in past shows and everything else, but it even starts back in like 2008 when they had the mortgage crisis, and
Mm,
you were never late on a payment, yet you wanted to get mortgage forgiveness, or you wanted to get a smaller APR rate, and they say, okay, well, we need to ask you some questions. Are you late? Yeah, how many times have you been late? Are you delinquent? And I said, well, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So you're telling me in order to qualify for this, I need to be 6 months delinquent on my payment? And they're
yeah.
like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, so they what they did was they turned payers into non-payers because you're doing everything the right way. You're being punished, but if you do things the wrong way, you're being rewarded. It's like that. It's kind of like the 2024, where all the honest people were being imprisoned and put in jail, and and they get in trouble for protecting their property, whatever it may be, and all the criminals, they were all set free.
Yeah.
I bonds, no cash. I mean, no cash bond. And they can get away with whatever they want, including politicians, everyone. So, um, there's a lot of dangers to the rewarding the downstat, and it's people need to understand that they reward themselves by doing the right thing, by telling the truth, by doing what's right, by being considerate toward others, by helping people, by just being grateful and considerate and kind to other people. That rewards you, okay? And I think that there's a spin put on it, and it's even kind of how they broke up the African American family. This happened decades ago, where they didn't they basically chased away the fathers. And how did they do that? By rewarding the mothers with with these crazy payments for having children, and the more different fathers they had, the more money they would make. And so they really just destroyed the black families. And I mean, all of these things are designed. I mean, that's why I always say never take a handout. I mean,
Well,
that's the worst thing you can do.
it was a source of income for them, especially people that foster children. I've known families that have fostered 10, 12, 15 people because every month they get a check from the state. They get money and they don't take care of the kids. This
Hmm.
is a source of income. This is a job for them. And the system is set up. I think it was originally set up to try to help people, but we're a nanny state now where, it pays. You make good money and could afford a lot of things. Kids could go to college for free if you don't work, if you're a bust out. The families that work hard, where a mother and a father both work, have to pay a ton of money to go to college. Families that are either divorced or one of the parents doesn't work, they get to go to college for free. Even the books, they get it all for free. And I know we talked about that before. But the problem is that it just keeps going, keeps going. Nobody ever does anything about it. Both sides of the aisle,
Well,
and it's terrible.
and I don't even want to go into politics with this, but the thing is like, what did you tell me pre-show? You know how much my taxes are, and you tell
Yeah.
me, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah. Right.
because you're a working stiff, okay? You got to pay for the people that are not working, that
Yeah.
we have to pay for on top of all the money that's stolen, right, from
Yeah.
our U.S. officials and our government officials, okay, and all these bogus systems. But it what I want to put a positive spin on this, and I don't want it just to seem negative. But
It's going to be a tough one.
Before I get to that, I was talking to a client today, and I said there's a bigger discrepancy in between the haves and the have-nots. And years ago, the blue collar middle class was what made this country thrive. Okay, and
is there even a middle class anymore?
And the middle class is actually struggling just to keep things together, right? Just and they've never had to struggle before, so they're not putting money into the economy like they were before. Even the small and medium-sized business owners, they're not putting the money into the business into the economy anymore because they don't have extra money because everything's eaten up. Yeah. And we also had talked about, like, basically everything is just a transfer of wealth, right? The money goes way up, and it basically everything's designed to tap you out. And the harder you got to work, the more you're going to comply. And a lot of people will fall into, okay, well, I'm just going to let the government take care of me. And really all you're doing is failing yourself, because you're like, oh, look what happened to me. Instead of saying, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna take the bull by the horns and go with it. And that's not that easy for most people. Me, I'm an entrepreneur, so I've never had a problem with that. Although it has been a lot more difficult in the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years than it's ever been before. And you have to, you just got to go and put the pedal to the metal, and you got to do what you got to do. But you got to be grateful. You got to be grateful for the people that are around you. You got to be grateful for your clients. You got to be grateful for waking up every day. Every day is a blessing. And so I think once you start becoming grateful for things, what you realize is that your life is good. It's not bad. And you start focusing on only the good things. And when you do that, you can get yourself into prosperity or in a very positive mood where you're happy. And a lot of people need to become happy because there's a lot of people that are a little sour right now.
Well, there's a lot of stressors out there. I mean, the prices of stuff, gas prices are high, and groceries are high, which I think the price of oil per barrel kind of trickles down to everything. Like when you go to the store, because it costs a lot of money to deliver those goods, everything seems like it's getting more expensive. I was talking with a friend of mine who sells cars, and I asked him how business was. He says business is kind of slow. He says, but of course, prices keep going up. They set a record this last year. They did a survey, and they found that majority of people, a higher percentage of people now, are keeping their cars for 10 years or longer, which they've never done before. And I think a lot of that is because people just can't afford to be swapping out cars like we used to, because prices are so high and everything.
You know how long I've had my cars? I'm not kidding you.
I believe you.
The one truck that I drive, it's a pickup truck. I bought it in 2005, brand new. It was 2006. I still drive it. Okay. It's a Lincoln pickup truck. It's got 200,000 miles on it. It still looks perfect, but I'm like, why would I want to get rid of it? It still runs perfect. I have an 08. Okay. And I got a 2000. Those are, and we have a 2001 as well. So these cars are 20 to 25 years old, all of them. And so, like, but I don't care. Like, I'm not going to go and blow 100, 200K on a car. Like, that's stupid.
You got a lot of cars there.
Yeah, we got a bunch, too much crap. You got to start getting rid of some of the stuff. It's all good, but how much do you use? You know what I mean? Like, I got to start simplifying. I mean, like boats, I got all these boats I got to deal with, and motorcycles. And
how many boats do you have?
5.
You have 5 boats?
Yeah, but I inherited some of them.
Holy jeez! What the hell do you do with 5 boats?
Yeah, exactly. You sell them. That's what you do with them. Get rid of them. Give them away. Do something.
He's got a gaggle of cars and he's got 5 boats.
You want them?
Buddy.
I'll give them to you for free.
No. First thing is, no, I do not want. It costs you
money. It doesn't help you. It costs you money, and it costs
I'm
you
sure
time.
The price of fuel for those boats has got to be terrible.
I don't want the extra stuff to do, and I don't want to have to pay extra money. And at the end of the day, time is limited, right? How much time do you got, and how much time do you want to spend on all this crap? So
boats. Wow.
I think You got to simplify. They're not all great. Don't get me wrong.
It doesn't matter. You have 5 boats. You know how many boats I have? 0.
You're better off. I'd rather be you.
I can't go float though on a lake. I'd have to bring my floaties with or
get
something.
Get an air mattress. It's better.
Yeah, get an air mattress.
Doesn't need fuel. Doesn't need fuel. So, anyways, I don't even know where I was going, but the moral to the story is that, you know, supporting the people for doing the wrong things. The dangers in that is the prices go up for the people that are trying to do the right thing, the people that are working, the people that are saving their money, right? The people that are investing, right? I mean, all the stuff that we're fighting against, right? You work your butt off, and you put
and
all
the people who worked, right?
And then you take your money and you put it into a retirement plan, or you put it into a 401k or whatever you put it into, or you trade it, and then they got all these AI bots moving all this money around, manipulating the market, and you work your ass off to put this money in there, and it's going up and down and up and down, and at the end of the day, you're the guy losing money, and all that money's just getting filtered out, right?
Yeah, and we're not privy to all that,
and
money.
We're not privy to that information. So,
you know, I did notice, and I think today, no, maybe tomorrow, the public IPO goes live for SpaceX. Yeah,
I think it's
today. Put in to get a share. one of my sites said, "Yeah, no, you're not getting one because I don't, invest a lot." And then the other site said, "Okay, yeah, you could have one." So I reserved it. I think it, correct me if I'm wrong, $135 a share. Did you look at that?
No, from my understanding, I read a lot on all that stuff. Is the only way you could get exposure to the SpaceX fund.
Yeah,
it was through a generic fund, and that was in the basket of
only 30% is going to be available
in the basket. I don't, so I don't know how much exposure you had, but yeah, I think it may be overstated. They're saying it's $1 million or a trillion and a half,
trillion,
to $2 trillion. I think it may be overstated. But
I put in to get some, but I don't know if I'll get them. I won't know until tomorrow.
But I got a lot of alternate data centers and space companies that I had bought.
Are you investing in data centers? Because I had that on my list of.
Yeah, well, it's not. Well, you know what? Basically, they're all these things are. You're probably going to talk about data centers here on the ground. The stuff is that I've been investing in is all space, right? So it's putting satellites up into space at different bandwidths, and then you have connectivity to these phones. So there's no dead spots.
So it's kind of like Starlink then, right?
Yeah, except Starlink, I read about that. Starlink has a very high bandwidth, so they're going to lose a lot of local connectivity. So some of the space projects that are out have the lower bandwidth, which has a lot more connectivity. So they're actually going to be either Starlink is going to have to buy space bandwidth from them, or they're going to be a direct competitor to SpaceX. So I read a lot about this stuff, but it's really interesting. But if you're going to talk about the data centers, I think that what you're going to talk about is they're building all these on the ground.
Yeah,
you're going to need all this energy. It's going to create all this radiation and problems and heat and the stuff that they're trying to put up in space, the data centers in space, that's supposed to alleviate all of that because it's cold up there, right?
Well, yeah, but and cold is good for electronics.
Yeah.
They were comparing these data centers that are going up all over. I guess Colorado and Texas just signed on to put a brand new data center in that each of them are as big as 3 Disney Worlds. That's one is as big as 3 Disney Worlds. And they're putting them up in Texas and Colorado. We're supposed to get one here close to me, and you're talking, 400,000 data centers right now in the central United States. And they use about 1 billion gallons of water. And at first when I heard this, I was like, what's the big deal? Power plants have been using lakes and water to cool their reactors and stuff all the time. But they're saying that this water is not reusable. Why? I don't know.
So what do they do with the water then?
I don't know. But they said the communities, and I've watched a few reports on this, the people who have had data centers built in their towns, first of all, they're using that eminent domain and they're kicking people off their properties for these data centers.
Wow.
And when they go up, the noise, there's a ton of noise pollution. And like you said, they draw so much power. These couple families hardly have any water pressure because they're using all the water.
They're using fresh water for this?
Yeah, you can't use salt water, which I was told, but this was the other thing I heard. I heard that China's putting some of their data centers underwater. Now, maybe in fresh lakes, because it helps with the, water consumption. You don't need it as much because you're down at the bottom of a lake, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they could use salt water.
Well,
because
I mean, what's with all these data centers? I mean, what we found out, Google, right? It's a free service, but it's really not free because they're finding out what kind of toilet paper you use, and
yep.
Like, why do they need to know what type of toilet paper and toothpaste I use? Like, why do they need to know the prescription of my glasses?
Because
like,
they're selling that information to retailers.
I
so
understand,
they can send you ads.
understand, but it's getting a little ridiculous.
It's getting way ridiculous.
I mean,
go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was talking to a client, an old client today, and he said, he keeps everything super simple. He's a private guy, blah, 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 blah. And so he says, yeah, my girlfriend came over and she just wanted to look up the value of my house.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, so she types it into the phone. He goes, now he gets texts and emails and even phone calls, like offering to buy his house. He goes,
yeah.
How do these people know who I am? I said, because she connected to the internet, and then they sold that information to all these different companies that buy it. And now all of a sudden they're going to be bugging you about your house. And it's really, I mean, as soon as you tap into this stuff, everything's exposed. And people don't understand it, but they know everything about you. They know where you, even with our phones, they know where you go, how much time you spend at each location. Yeah. They know everything about you. Between they can listen to you, between
how many times are you talking to someone about something, then all of a sudden you go on a web page or something. I know it happens on social media, and then all of a sudden you see ads for what you were talking about.
Right. You could say, I need a new dryer, and all of a sudden Maytag's sending you
you get it all because they're listening. You have all these devices. Your phone's always listening because you have that Siri. I don't want to say it too loud. See it activated mine.
Yeah, she's going to listen to us. You probably wind up getting arrested.
They're always listening, and they say, well, they're not listening. They're just listening for those key words. But you're going to have to prove that to me.
I don't know, man. I think we got to go back to the flip phones.
There's been
I'm serious.
I think a few flip phones are coming back out.
I think we got to get the flip phone. I mean, if you got to use your phone for work or something, that's fine. Otherwise, go to a flip phone. You know what I mean?
Flip phone. They call them feature phones because these are smartphones. The other ones are feature phones, I believe. Is what
I thought they were called track phones, and some people call them burners.
Well, burners are usually the ones you pay and go.
Right.
Pay as you go, where you can go in and get minutes and pay cash, so there's no paperwork.
Because I had some flip phones. I had all these different telephone numbers.
And we all have StarTex or whatever.
And I had these, and somebody saw one of my flip phones, and I don't know if I had to check something or call somebody from one of them. And they go, "What do you do for a living?" I go, "Why?" They go, "Why do you got a burner phone?"
It's really not a burner phone, but yeah, you know what they do? They crack it off and throw it. That's what you should have did. You should have said something and said, "All right," cracked it and threw it on the ground like they did in Breaking Bad, and been done with it. But getting back to the advertising and everything, I mean, it's crazy. And they had said that a lot of people are using AI, Chat GPT. We've talked about this before, and it truly is amazing what it could do. I mean, you could just tell Chat GPT to write me a song about this, and it'll do it. It'll do anything. Now, they used to tell kids, if you want to have your kids be successful, teach them how to code. Coding is everything, because those people who know how to code can make programs. The people who code can make apps. You can make a lot of money doing that. You know what? You don't have to learn that anymore, because I did it myself. The other day I was doing a little research for the show, and I told ChatGPT, can you make me an app based on what I had said? And ChatGPT said, yeah, we'll make you the full app. Do you want this? Do you want that? So you don't even need to learn how to code anymore. It'll do it for you. But see, that energy, that power is what these data centers provide. And they said that just having AI make one picture of you, just one picture, like if you say, hey, put me and Don, whatever, with all these athletes on, on Wrigley Field or whatever. One picture to make that uses the same amount of energy as it takes to run your refrigerator for 1 month.
Really?
That's astounding. Yeah. That's why these data centers are so important and why everybody's using this AI, which is, it's a great service, but look what's happening to the environment. And you got all these people that are worried about the environment. What about the data centers, the water, the energy that's going to run these?
You brought up a good point, and I'm going to throw a quick plug in.
Yeah.
From what I've been reading,
mm-hmm.
The one thing that that a real good way to invest right now is energy. Energy.
Well, they need a lot of energy.
People are all looking at AI. People are all looking at, the space things. What do we need for all of this? We need resource. We need energy. Right?
And that's what runs all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, if people are looking to invest, I highly suggest looking in energy. But anyways, yeah, it's interesting. But I think that the stipends and the things that are going back to the original topic, the stipends and the benefits that are designed for people that don't or can't or whatever or won't, work. Those are like the poison pill, right? As soon as you take that, as soon as you get free money, you know what? You're never going to want to create. You're like, I just get the free money. Before you know it, you just have the nipple. And then what happens, right? You're controllable, right? You gotta do this and you gotta do that. And that's the beginning to the end, because that's communism. And they want they want to strip you of your capabilities, and how they do it, they offer the poison pill. So, we all have to go out there. We have to create. We have to make ourselves better, and we have to just create happiness in our life, because at the end of the day, how long are we going to be here? We don't know. And age doesn't even matter anymore. It could be, you could be young, could be old. Every day's a blessing, every day above ground, right? So, enjoy it, be happy, try to have the right people around you, and stay positive, right? And always be create something good for you, your family, your friends, create a good environment, right? And
it helps to have money, I'll tell you that, because you could be pretty happy if you get some money and pay off your bills. But I see your point of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta just figure it out. Sometimes it's not a matter of making more money. Sometimes it's just a matter of letting less money, go out the back, right? So, containing that money. I always talk about, like, it doesn't matter what you make, it's what you keep. And unfortunately, most of us, myself included, we're recirculators of money, right? So we get it and we spend it and we use it, and then you got to get more. And we got to figure out how to create the cash, fewer times, and then have the cash actually work for us. So we have to make some good investments and some good decisions, although it's difficult, like you said, now with the AI. Because there's a lot of stripping and transfers of wealth going on.
Well, it does everything for everybody now. I mean, do you remember back, like when we were young, if you had a question about something, you just had to go around and ask people. Now, how many times you're in a conversation, somebody says, hey, what was that again? Everybody grabs their phone. You go to Google, you look it up.
And that's not always correct either.
No. Well, that's the other thing. ChatGPT gathers all information from the internet to give you a response, an answer. But you have to double check that, because, like you said, it's not always accurate. It's been known to be wrong. And there's a lot of people I know that use the new ChatGPT Health, which is supposed to be really good. They'll know everything about you. You could say, hey, I want to take this drug. ChatGPT will say, well, based on your history and what medications you're taking, you shouldn't take that, which is great. But you have to double check this stuff. You can't always believe it. And that's exactly what you just said.
Well, you're 1,000% correct. And what you have to realize is there's programmers, right, for this Chat GPT. So is it actual data and information, or is it what they want you to believe? It's kind of like the educational
That's
system,
a great
right?
question, Don.
Is
That's
is
a great
is,
question.
and I'll tell you a funny story. I talked to a guy that was a college history professor, right?
Hmm.
And I said, I didn't want to invalidate him at all. And I said, let me ask you a question. And he says, shoot. And I said, so do you believe that that history is based on factual information, or do you think that it's based on what they want you to think and believe? And isn't every book written by an author and that's their perspective? And he said, that's a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that before. And he's an old guy. He's probably 85 years old. And he
Yeah.
said, you know what? I think that history is just what they want you to think. He goes, I don't think it's based on actuality. And I said, thank you, because that's from all my accounts, that's why I'm kind of anti-education, because I think it's just fuel for what they want you to believe.
Well,
And
the
it's
system's definitely screwed up.
right. They
You're
want to
right.
control you. So, the more educated you are, the more controllable you are.
Well, then
And
you can
so-
go back and say the Bible too. I mean, that's
exactly.
people just
And-
interpreting, writing things down. We have no factual stuff for anything.
Right.
that
You think
happened in
about
the
how
Bible.
long ago that was written, how
Yeah.
many different authors and people's hands that information go through. And, I was talking about this with my secretary. I'm like, play the phone game. 10 people.
Oh, yeah,
Throw a message
right.
out.
We were just
see
talking
how
about
it comes
that, right?
back to you, right? And
Right.
so through thousands and thousands of years, you don't think the story's been changed, perceived differently, whatever, and on purpose or not on purpose, just based on perspective. And so I think that, and another thing that I'm going to say is a lot of things that are created to create betterment for you
Yeah.
have been corrupted that actually destroy you. So, I mean, you have to understand that there's good and there's evil. And we need to try to stay attached to all the good that we can and try and stay away from all the evil we can. So, you disconnect with anything that's evil and try and connect with anything that you think is good,
And that kind of reflects back to our last episode, about staying positive and keep things good. And,
Yeah.
that's why I have a few friends that are very religious. And, I'm not very religious. I believe in God, but I don't believe in the ways that a lot of the religions tell you how it was. I think a religion was originally started, this is just my guess, to kind of keep people in line, like a moral compass, to keep you in line and getting back to the Bible, because everything that's written in the Old Testament, New Testament, I can't find any factual stuff like that. I mean, there are people looking for the ark. There are people looking for this. You're not going to find it, because I think this was all made up. I do. And I know that's a topic for another show, because we go off on hours for that and we have a few minutes left, but
No,
I just
but
don't think there's any proof of that.
I agree with you. I believe that, a lot of it is fables to tell a backstory, right?
Yeah.
And and it's we definitely have a creator, right?
Yeah.
We definitely have people that operate at a higher level. I think that a lot of those people are either people that are closer to God or closer to Satan, right?
Yeah.
And they're either doing things to make things better or they're doing things to make things worse. So that's how you decipher the two. And at the end of the day, I think it's all about goodness and helping other people and helping yourself and always trying to better yourself and your environment and anything around you. So if you're like that, chances are you're connected with God. And if you're there trying to destroy,
Yeah.
and and a lot of times it's very covert what they're doing. We're here to help you. They're really here to destroy you. That kind of bullshit. Those are the people connected to the evil sources, and those are the people you need to stay away from. And so I think you just got to kind of keep it simple. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, you know how if it's somebody you should be around? If you have an encounter with that person and you walk away and you say, wow, I really feel good. I feel really good,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you should spend more time with that person. Now, if you're around somebody and you walk away and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I was just run over by a bus and you're negative and you hate everything, maybe you need to disconnect from that person, because those are toxic people.
Those are people. I see a lot of people like that. Some of my friends on Facebook, when I go on there, you have the people that are always cheerful. And then I have a handful of people that every day is, oh, my check was late. Oh, and my ex-husband didn't pay the bills and now I have no money for food. Every day they're complaining. And I'm just thinking, oh God, thank God I don't interact with these people on a personal level every day. So I think that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you focus on the negative things, that's what you got. If you focus on the positive things, that's what you get. Like whatever you focus on is what you get. So why would you focus on things you don't want? It doesn't make any sense.
People like
But
to
people
complain.
do it time and time again, but misery loves company, right? So
I
if somebody's
guess.
miserable, they want you miserable. You know,
And I've gotten rid of a few people in my life that made me feel like that. That I was just like, you know what? And I've told them, you are not a positive in my life. I'm out. I'm done.
right?
But
Right.
I mean, it's a great point. We're kind of out of time here,
Yeah.
but another great discussion with you, my friend, Mister
Yeah, I
Five
think
Boats.
it was good. It was really good. Shut up about the boats.
I just think it's great. I really
Yeah.
do. I mean,
Yeah, you'd probably laugh if you saw some of these things.
no, I think it's great. You threw me for a loop there. I thought you were going to say, "Well, I have 2. I got a rowboat. I got this." But when you said 5, I was like, "Holy cow! That's great. I'm happy for you." But
No, don't be. Come and take them.
no, I don't want. I got nowhere to put them. I'm not near any lakes.
See?
I'm near a river. But well, I want to remind people to visit our website. It's donhanstonshow.com, and you can email us. We have been getting some emails. A lot of positive reaction to the last show. Straight up, donhanston@gmail.com. Our show, the podcast, is available on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audio, and Overcast if you're looking for it. And if you could, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Share the podcast with people. Let them know what's going on. Hit the like button. That'll help us out. Hit the bell so you know when we drop new episodes. And you really help us out. So, Don, I guess we'll catch up with everybody next time. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll catch you again real soon.
Have a great day.